Oh, look at the little muffin.
That's my latest baby. I was introducing her to Ed and Bernie earlier. All right, welcome everybody. I think we pretty much know each other. Hi.
Who's here?
I don't know how much introductions we should do, but for Margaret's benefit, we have Bernie and Ed and Sue, Nancy, myself, and Jamie here today.
Hello, Margaret.
Hi, guys.
And the room we're in is pretty warm, so we might be chugging the water.
Hey.
I brought with me a couple of iPads that we can put the password in. If anyone didn't bring their phone or they want to kind of play as we go along, you're more than welcome to use one of these. I'm just going to plug the password in wherever that's loaded in. So we don't have a formal session planned today. Like last year we did a very formalized one with you guys. Thanks, Ed. But what we quickly learned is you are fantastic at telling us what you'd like to know and asking specific questions. So that's what we kind of thought we would do today. But we are going to go over what's new in Facebook and Twitter in the past year. They tend to update their programs a lot, and there's been changes. So we'll go over what's new and what's changed since last year. Then we'll give you guys a chance to ask us questions, and it can be basic. I forget how to log into Facebook, help me, or it could be, some of you are looking at the survey results, we're interested in Instagram and LinkedIn and some more kind of advanced things like that. Saying that, Instagram itself is actually not advanced, it's just another program, but it's probably the easiest one to learn. So if you're going to learn one, it's very, very simple. So that's what we have planned today. We're going to start with just a brief overview of what's new in the world of Facebook and some Q&A. And if you guys want some time to practice things, hands-on is always the best. We can walk you through it. And like I said, we have some extra iPads floating around if you want to use those too. We have some coffee and refreshments coming at 10:30. Sorry, Margaret. Refill your coffee at that time if you'd like. And after that, we're going to head into Twitter land. There's actually not as many changes in Twitter as there has been in Facebook. So that's a little bit easier to go through. And if there's time, depending on what you guys want to learn, we'll dive into Instagram as well. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's go back, if I can figure this out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we'll start with our friend Facebook, everybody's favorite social network platform. What's new? Few things that we have noticed. I would say, let's go to Facebook itself. Okay. Are you seeing Facebook now, Margaret?
I am.
Perfect. Okay, here's your page. The biggest change,
Lots of post reaches this week. Whew.
Yes. They're actually doing very well because Facebook is hard to reach people. They've made it that way for businesses, even non-for-profits. Jamie? A little better. Yeah. They've made it difficult for your average person to see any kind of quote-unquote business page, even if that business is a non-for-profit. So trying to reach people through Facebook is getting more difficult. So you guys are actually doing pretty well here. One of the major changes here, we talked last year about using Facebook as a page versus as your person. Does everybody remember that conversation? So it's different if I want to post an update from myself, the dog eats another pair of glasses, ha ha ha. Down to my last pair. Down to my last pair, gotta stop leaving them around. Or if I want to post something from your page, obviously I would not post about my dog from the MFRC page, right? So it can easily happen, and people do it all the time. So we need to know how to switch back and forth. Once upon a time, this little drop-down arrow would let you, which we manage multiple pages here. And if I clicked on your page, I would be using Facebook as you, but they changed that. All that does now is take me to your page, but up top, I'm still there. Just show you, see, it's still Christine. You can see because I have my lovely profile picture there. So if I were to type things, there is a chance that it would come up as myself. So
It doesn't look like this on my phone.
no, it would look different on your phone. Yeah.
So what do you do different, like,
I haven't done anything yet.
like what's your name?
Yep, I haven't done a single thing. So all I've done is gone to our Facebook page. But it's kind of it's a good thing and also a few more steps depending on what you want to do. Facebook has caught on that people like myself and Jamie and many of you might have multiple identities and might want to use Facebook under different hats. So what they have done, they assume, because I'm an admin of this page, they assume that anything I write here, even though I'm logged in as myself, I'm writing on behalf of you. And you can check that because of the logo right here.
Okay.
The logo right here. If for some reason, it's not even doing it, it's not even giving me the option of doing mine. It's very, very strange. So you can always check that. Sometimes if you're switching back and forth, you could check here and my logo might be here, and then I could tell, okay, what I'm typing is me, not MFRC. For some reason, it's not even giving me that option today, so it's just assuming that I want to be you guys today. So that's, in terms of updating your page, it's a built-in security feature that's actually quite smart. It gets a little frustrating when you want to comment as an individual, like, because my husband's in the Army. If I want to actually comment on some of those posts as myself, I have to kind of work around that a little. But in terms of, otherwise I'm commenting as you, right? No, well, just because we're a recording session. Yeah. So in terms of updating your page, it's a built-in security feature that you don't have to remember to sign in as the page. And I have temporarily added all of you, Bernie or you as well, we'll have to check on that, as admins of this page. So when you go to this page, this will happen for you too.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't add your email address. It was telling me it wasn't a valid Facebook one, so maybe when we do some practice, we can figure that out. Here's the thing that has changed the most. So when I used to be able to switch my view and say I want to view Facebook as MFRC, if I went to home, all of the news feed would be pages that the MFRC has liked, not the pages or friends that Christine has liked, right? So MFRC likes all of the other MFRCs across the country, the Canadian Armed Forces, a lot of local things because it's good to share local events. Christine has not necessarily liked all of the MFRCs across the country because I don't really have a personal interest in what's happening in Edmonton. I have a business interest, but not a personal one. So you can't do that as the same way anymore. If I click home, I'm still seeing my personal stuff. All right, and some of my personal stuff is business, but this is a friend of mine. It's not a page of the MFRC. So how do we check the pages? Go back to our page. Everything that we want to do now from Facebook as MFRC is kind of contained within the page. Instead of before, you could go outside of your page and you could use Facebook as that page. Now they kind of want you to stay within your own page. So they have this new feature here. It says View Pages Feed. This is new. This wasn't here last year. See posts from other pages. And once that loads,
From other pages, so other pages that you're administering?
Nope, other pages that the MFRC has liked. There we go.
Ah.
Okay, because part of Facebook too, it's not just, it's a conversation. It wouldn't be as fun if I were to sit here and just kind of talk to you guys all morning and not let you talk back. I wouldn't enjoy that. You wouldn't enjoy that. So conversation is back and forth. And the same thing with Facebook. We don't want to just be pumping information out. We want to be commenting on other things as well. If the Guardian posted a story about the WR3, it would be great because they post everything on their Facebook page, it would be great for our page to comment on that. Thank you for covering the story. That kind of engagement, right?
So everybody, staff-wise, can do that?
Well, for now, for teaching purposes, I've added you all as admin. We have to have a staff conversation about who's allowed to do what, and there's different roles, and that's something to talk to Donna about for sure. But for training purposes, just to show you how to use Facebook, we've done that for you today.
So who decides, how does it happen that the MFRC likes all these pages? Do you do that?
I've done some of that. The person who was managing it before has done some of that. I mean, there's no harm in liking pages unless it's something that is politically or controversial. Exactly. There's no harm in even liking the Chronicle Herald, like just different news outlets.
If you
Right.
like, then you're posting.
Yeah.
Post.
What happens too, I don't know how that got liked. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not really related, but there's nothing wrong with it. What happens though is like the news outlets here are always good to follow.
The Asperger's would be relevant though, Christine,
Yeah.
because there are some families with special needs children.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I meant there was I think it's like a national organization. Anyway, it's fine. I think there was one here that was a country musician or something. I did unfollow that particular.
It's like the page, then anytime they post something that shows up. So we would see it in the feed whenever we go to view what the pages that we've liked are saying. So the same way that someone who's liked the MFRC page, whenever they're looking at their news, they'll see more updates.
Yeah.
So it's
So we like something like Caregivers Brigade.
Yeah.
anytime they do
Yeah.
something, it shows up on.
Doesn't show up on our
Doesn't show up
wall,
on your page.
but because I like to know what's going on nationally. Like we follow the MFS and the Canadian Family Magazine and the Caregivers Brigade. And when I see all their updates, it's great information for us to share, let our followers know. Because myself, we were talking about a few other military people we know earlier. They may follow the MFRC PEI, but they may not follow Canadian Family Magazine. So we want to spread that information. So what we're talking about here is using Facebook for the MFRC's purposes, not necessarily like as an individual. We want to push as much information that's relevant to our followers out as possible. So what Jamie and I take time to do each week is to go through these pages, the like pages, the relevant pages, and find information that we think that people who are following you might also like to know. So this is a way for us to kind of comb that information.
And it doesn't show up on your page.
No, it doesn't show unless we share it.
You're just reading it.
Yeah, the Legion magazine, things like that. But you see, CBC Prince Edward Island, here we go. Here's a great article on Barbie. If we wanted to comment on that, you can see how it's going to be from the MFRC, not from myself, even though I'm logged in under me. This little logo here ensures that I'm commenting on behalf of you guys.
And if you shared it, would it be on behalf of us as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
One of the key things with Facebook, like the story above this Barbie one is Guy Burger Love. One reason that we as a page might comment on something like that is the visibility. The PEI Burger Love campaign, Margaret, it's a festival of burgers that goes for the month of April.
30 days of burgers, yeah.
Many restaurants participate, and thousands of people are interested in following Burger Love. So if you wanted to get more people in PEI aware of you as an organization, commenting on the PEI Burger Love post, just with we can't wait to go and try one of these burgers and stuff, saying something simple like that, it exposes potentially thousands of people. They might say, oh, what's PEI MFRC? And those people, they may click through and say, oh, these people are helping families involved in the military. So that's kind of one of the reasons why we do it, is to stay in the know and to promote our services. But there is a big potential to increase visibility whenever you're interacting and engaging, especially strategically with pages that you know are going to have a very big volume of engagement.
Unlike something like if I find if I go far with news that if you like something and all of a sudden anything happens, you're doing this. It's all coming from this one place, so I get tired. And then I miss everything else because
You can hide You can hide a particular page from your news feed if you don't want to unlike them, like if you want from time to time to check in with them, or you can unfollow them or unlike them. Yeah.
Christine,
Yes, Margaret.
I do have one favor. If I'm having a hard time hearing Bernie when she talks, if she could come closer to the mic, that would be great.
Yeah, she's sitting across the room. If I turn my computer like this. Bernie was asking about if you could, I can also just repeat her what she said to you, Margaret.
Sure.
Bernie was asking if you could like a page or a person because she sometimes finds it a bit cluttered. I would say as an individual, you have every right to unfollow or unlike any page you want. When you're dealing with a page where there's multiple admins, not necessarily, because what a page that you may not have any interest in, somebody over here might have an interest in. So if you're looking at the MFRC news feed and there's a particular page that's getting kind of cluttered, just check back in about 20 minutes or so, and chances are they've kind of gone away.
Okay, thank you.
Show Bernie where you can unlike the page.
Yeah.
For your own personal.
It would be the same. Nope.
What's the difference between unlike and unfollow?
Okay, so it's not as much of a difference in terms of pages, but Facebook tends to get a little personal. And if you have all these friends from high school or whatever, if you defriended that particular person, you're afraid that they might cause a little fit, but you don't want to actually see their updates anymore, you can hide them from your timeline. They'll never know that you did that. You never receive any notifications of anything that they've done, but they're still listed as one of your friends. Kind of.
So that's if you hide them.
It's a passive, yeah, exactly. It's a passive-aggressive way of not receiving information from particular people.
What does embed mean?
Sorry, embed?
Embed.
That means we were a few hours ago.
So here.
I know what you mean, Margaret. It's
No,
like,
not embed, no. No, I saw an embed on the other one.
Oh, it's an option from a page. I think it might give you a code to like embed it into a website or something like that.
well, if you scroll down, you save a post.
Yes, you can.
And then it goes down to other options, and then you click that as embedded.
It might give you a code to put that particular screen cap. You know, sometimes in like CBC articles, they'll give you, and they're live, they're not just screenshots. They'll give you what looks like a screenshot of a Facebook page or a Twitter kind of caption, usually in reaction to some kind of huge event. It might give you a code to do that.
So back to Bernie's question about unfollowing a page or unliking a page. You can unfollow a person, but you have to like or unlike a page,
Yeah.
I believe. So if you went up to the page, our MFRC page, it should, at the banner at the top where it says liked, if you click on that, you can just click unlike, and then you'll stop getting updates from that page. So in a page that you like, if you don't like them anymore, just go click that button.
Yeah.
And if it's a person, you can hover over just where Christine was before on her friends. Andy, any post that you go has a little triangle at the top right, and you can choose to unfollow them
Or hide.
or hide.
Yeah.
So you have to hide each individual post.
You know, it's weird because Facebook has these different kind of, it's Facebook, it's a computer system, and they're trying to figure out what it is that you actually want to see. So it says your hide posts, see fewer posts like this. And I've done this to particular friends, and it's true, I see fewer posts, but what they kind of do is not necessarily tied to that specific person. It'll be that person who posts an article from CBC. Facebook will interpret that as, I don't want to see something from Wendy Chappell when she writes about CBC. So you might have to do it a few times before Facebook gets the hint that I don't actually want to see anything from this particular person.
Videos, or if you're hiding all the quotes that people put up, then Facebook's going to actually stop delivering that to you.
So when it says unfollow Wendy there, does it also mean like unfriendly?
Yeah, unfollow is now, I think they've changed it from defriend to unfollow.
Stay friends.
And does Wendy know about that?
If Wendy went to her friends, well, no, the unfollow might be, they changed.
know if you've unfollowed her.
Wendy won't know, because I think Wendy's my personal trainer, so there's an option on,
So you might want to unfriend her one day. Just approach that.
There's an option on Facebook that you follow your kind of the people that you want to see more from, so you don't miss anything. It's a bit different than a friend. If I follow, then I get everything from that particular person. So I think Wendy's one of my top people. That's why it's given me that option. So, because I like.
Okay, so more you're engaged with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so a few. That's the main big things. How to use Facebook as your page. That has changed. And so it used to be a very simple thing. You would click here, use Facebook as, and now, once I figured it out, but at first I was quite startled. I'm like, how do I use Facebook as my page? But they just want you to stay within. They've actually built in security measures that you don't post as yourself, which is pretty great. That was happening a lot. And even on my homepage, right now, this is me. If I'm commenting, I'm going to comment as myself. If I'm sharing something, if I go down to share, I can share anything from any particular account that I want from my own homepage. And I do this sometimes because I'll see something on my homepage that I think, you know what, the MFRC would really benefit from sharing that particular information. It might just be a news article.
Oh.
And I can go down on share a page that I manage. We manage a lot of pages, so I will find you guys.
Cool.
Right? So you can do it that way too. You don't have to just share something from your own particular newsfeed, because I know that I like certain pages that the MFRC might not like for one reason or another, or it's just that particular moment in time. And if I logged out or if I tried to find it under MFRC, I might not actually find it as easily, so it's a time saver. If I'm seeing something and I just take 10 seconds to share it from you guys, I can do that.
Okay, that's cool.
So even though it's my picture here, it gives you the ability to share from anybody.
That's the little arrow kind of says you can share it, like if,
Yes.
you have to go back to your administrator.
To comment? Yes, you do.
Share.
No, to share, I'm on my home feed here. This is my friend, Corey. He's posting all of his degrees and diplomas, his office wall. Yeah. Now, if I shared it here, friends, that's going out from me. But if I just did the more generic share, it gives you all the options, and I can share it. Yeah.
I'm not connected. Well, I'm connected.
Now it would, because I have you as an admin for this page.
Jeff didn't in, that's that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll give you this option if you're an editor or some other. There's a whole bunch of different page roles that we can certainly explore. But I have now added you as part of the MFRC team, and you would have that option.
There's groups somewhere, another page somewhere. You don't know what's going on. It's just
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing too, on the bottom next to cancel, it says friends and there's an arrow down. You can change that as well.
Yes.
I don't know.
You can make that public.
But public just means everyone in the world can see it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying that?
Yep.
So you can edit that as well.
Yeah. That comes in handy when you're using your personal account, because anything that you do on a page is public. Pages don't have friends. So this would be for if I was sharing something from Christine, and then I thought it was a very good, relevant post. I didn't mind if somebody over in Australia read it. I didn't mind anybody read it. Then I could make that public. All right. So this is why we don't have a specific presentation and agenda, because this is great. What were our other news? Oh, the video. This is kind of neat. Facebook launched only within the past couple of weeks.
I think their line is closed. Or it was.
Facebook launched a new feature where you can do your own business video. So I haven't done one for MFRC because I would need to talk to Donna about what she actually wants, but just to show you. That's one little marketing tool. It's like a 20-second video that you can create. Yes.
Is that on YouTube?
Nope. It's within Facebook because Facebook wants to own it. I can't even share the URL to it because if you look at the top, this is actually the URL to our Facebook page. It's not specific to this video. So it's on our page. Now what I've done for the next week or two, I've pinned it to the top. So anybody coming to our page will see that first thing. It won't get buried for a little bit until I decide that, you know, it's not worth seeing anymore.
How do you pin something?
You pick any post you want. I've done this with the MFRC too. When we were doing any like call for information or call for participants, or we were looking for the retreat, I had that information pinned at the top so that people could see it. It's the same. This little arrow here, Margaret, gives you all kinds of little options here. These are our manly man assistants who are being ever so helpful yesterday. The first thing is if you want to pin to the top. And then what that does, it sticks it to the top. It's like a little sticky note, and anything that you want to have highlighted, because, you know, we're posting for you guys every day. Things become buried. If there was something really important that you wanted people to know about, you just stick it to the top. And it becomes easy to cross-promote. So if I'm writing on Twitter about something, I'll say, you know, check our page. It's pinned to the top for more information, right?
If you pin something like, say, a week after you posted it, does it change the date that you posted it, or does it still show?
I don't think it does. I don't think it changes the date, but it does. It will stick it right to the top. Yeah. Go back to your page, though. Cute as ours is. Okay, I'm just going to pop back to our classroom just for a second to see what else was on here. Call to action. Okay, that one. Preferred. Excellent. Okay. Remind myself. Okay. Still with us, Margaret?
I am.
Perfect.
This is really cool.
Okay, so one of the things that was launched, I'd say, within the past 8 or 9 months is now a call to action button on our banner. And that is, we've done a contact us one for you. It's this button right here. Last year, that wasn't there. We had liked and we had messaged, and that was kind of the only 2 options that anyone coming to your page can see. But now you can have a call to action. Now, if you were a business, like if you were a business like a hairdressing salon, you could have book an appointment. You could have all kinds of different ones for you guys. We did contact us, and it links to your website, I believe.
I must not have the most up-to-date Facebook or something, because I'm not showing the pin thing.
Mobile is different too.
So what's that?
It can be.
So you just click on Contact Us and it goes directly to your website?
Yeah.
Or do you have to use the drop-down menu?
No, I just clicked on the button. I just wanted to see my options as an admin, so I tested it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. So over here, this week, somebody, well, that might have been just me, but somebody clicked on the Contact Us button once. There's been weeks where that I can tell you how many times it's been clicked. That just shows people are interested. So kind of a neat little feature.
I've never used my computer. Okay. I never go down there to check Facebook.
Yeah.
My phone, so I mean, this is a
Yeah.
very different.
This is just showing you guys, what. Yeah, and some of this stuff is just to show you what we've done to update your page in the past year, but you don't, like, we put that button on about 8 or 9 months ago, and you haven't done anything with it since, right? It's just there as another way for people to contact you. So we'll look at Facebook through the mobile phone kind of view and see, let you practice, okay, I'd like to do an update, how do I do that, or any kind of these features that you want to do, how it looks differently on a phone.
I think the main problem with Facebook Mobile, if they've changed it in the last day or two, is you can't view feeds.
Yeah.
You can't view, like how we mentioned before, where you go and see what other pages that you've liked are putting out there. You can't see that in mobile. So if you're not checking in on a computer, you can't see what anyone else is kind of doing.
Mine shows Contact Us on this.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, that's the call to action button.
So how much email did you find worked for me? Someone worked?
Oh, you are under.
You have no Holly or?
whatever one has this photo attached to it. I think it wasn't this one, so it was not the Gmail one. Okay.
I get hacked in Gmail.
You got hacked in there? So one of the benefits of the viewing the Pages feed, especially for you, Margaret, is when we're doing these virtual sessions. So sometimes we're co-hosting with another MFRC, and that other MFRC has promoted this event. So that's a really good thing for us to know about, and we can share, we can comment, or just for general camaraderie sake, if an MFRC in Halifax is doing a really interesting event, we might just want to share it for our friends in Halifax. We might just want to comment and say, this looks really great, good luck with it, that kind of thing.
Okay, I have a question about the messages on the notifications.
Yep, go ahead.
So sometimes I might accidentally click on the messages just because I'm curious. Does that mess it up for you and for Donna? Because you guys should be, you're the ones that are responding to those messages and notifications, right? So if I click,
every notification, so no, it doesn't mess us up at all.
So you don't miss it though? Like if I click on a message and answer it, then you won't see it necessarily, right?
I think we still do. You see this little number up here?
Yeah.
I still get notifications.
I think that if one admin responds though, I think it disappears.
Margaret wasn't an admin until, were you always an admin, Margaret? Or did
I was an admin from the last class.
Okay. I still get every notification though about all the new messages.
If it's on our mailing man page, if a message has been responded to, the number goes away for me. So I think it is possible the things may potentially get missed. It might be safe to mark as unread if it doesn't apply to you, just in case.
And how do you mark it as unread?
Within the actual inbox where the messages are, Christine can show you.
Trying to get there.
Unread, I see the flag. Okay.
So, yeah. So can you though?
I would click on it first and then unread. Okay.
Clicked. How can you add that? How can you define that as unread though?
Select it.
Here we go. And then
If you select it
action,
and go under action,
mark as unread. Yeah.
and mark as unread, that would make sure that if it doesn't apply to you, that another admin can
Yeah.
see it.
That's
What about notifications? Is there any way to unread notifications?
So we get notifications if somebody comments on any of our posts or shares any of our posts. I get those notifications all the time, so if you're getting them too, I don't
mark all as read. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I can mark them as unread. Okay, good.
If you select on them, yeah, here you go, mark as unread. So if there's a really important, most of these are just people liking our posts or people sharing them, and that's okay if we don't all see those notifications, that's fine. If somebody makes a comment though that you want to make sure that everybody sees or is aware of, marking it as unread is an excellent strategy.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yes, that's what I do when I don't want to deal with stuff.
Now I know. Now I know why I always have all the notifications. Okay. One of the great things too about the messages is, where did that go? Unclick.
I wonder if you mark it unread, so like if I send Nancy a message, if she opens it, it shows that she read it. If I click unread, that can go away.
I don't think it does that from page out, though. I think that's a person-to-person feature.
So too, the little scene.
So that doesn't happen at all for a page.
I've never
think so.
seen it. Okay.
I'm trying to find, Jamie, help me out. Facebook has changed its outlook. Where is the auto responders now? I thought it was under messages.
I've never used Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
Notifications, maybe?
I think it's what Facebook has done, and it's great for companies like you guys too, where you're kind of understaffed and we not necessarily have the ability to check messages within 5 minutes, is it sets up an autoresponder. So thank you for your message. Somebody will contact you within the next 24 hours, or you can just put whatever kind of message you want. And then if somebody messages you guys within seconds, they'll receive that auto message, so they're not just sitting and waiting for somebody to respond. I'm sure it's here somewhere. If we poke around, we'll find it. But it's a neat little feature. I thought, here it is. Okay, so under messages, it's under this messages, which is under settings, not under that messages. We can have an instant reply go out, and we can turn it on. I haven't done it yet because it's a relatively new feature, and we just wanted to talk to you guys how you felt about that. It's kind of the same thing as having a, not necessarily the same thing as having a voicemail, but having that kind of message, hi, we're not able to take your call right now. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. So that might be something we set up for you. What else was on the, the saving thing was neat. So Ed, you mentioned this, how you can have the ability to save a post.
Yeah,
That's a cool feature.
it is a cool feature, because if someone's going to come and read your article,
Yes.
very close, you haven't really decided whether you want to share it or not. Or,
Yes, absolutely.
really liked it and wanted to.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a recipe that you don't want to bookmark or something, yeah, because our bookmarks all get really cluttered, right? So what Ed and I are talking about here is saving. And Facebook has given you the option, you can do it as a page, yes you can, great, to save a post either as a page or as a person. So if I want to save this, if it's something I'm really interested in, I can save that post, add it to saved. I haven't done this for the MFRC, so I would gather there's not really, okay, somebody saved one.
Something historic, I mean, Friday tomorrow is the second year anniversary, I almost planned it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where's the saved button? I see save, but how do you get to it from your home page?
So how to save, or how do you find the saved?
How do you find your saved?
Okay.
Every post is little.
I'm assuming it would be on here somewhere.
Personal page, there's a little button at the bottom left that shows you can save.
Yeah. On the personal one, it's on your home feed. I'm looking for it on the page one. They have just recently changed how pages kind of look.
Maybe put in search save.
Search for posts. No, that is a cool feature though, Margaret. If I was looking for a post on this page, say WR3, it will give me everything.
Oh.
WR3. It's like a Google search within your own page. So that's sometimes really handy if I'm looking for a post that we now have canceled an event, or if we changed the time or something like that. I'll do that to save myself some time. Yeah.
This time last year there was so much snow. Hey, what a difference a year makes.
Oh yeah. I will have to hunt around for that, and it's something that we can do for sure and let you know. But how to actually save a post is from any post, that little arrow. Save it there. Once you save it, you can click on the hyperlink save, and then that'll bring you to it. But there has to be a way to get here easier than that. We'll look for that.
The saved posts for me.
The one that y'all have saved, I think put your up top there, home.
Yeah, those would be the ones that Christine has saved, though. So we're looking for the ones that MFRC has saved. So you're right here is where I would find my own personal saved ones. But in terms of where you find the ones that are saved here, good question.
You carry on.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it's under more.
Yeah, I tried that too.
Leave it with me, people.
We'll leave it with Jamie. She'll give us an answer within the next 24 hours. Okay.
That's right.
Go back to, oh, this one. Okay, this is very important for you guys. This is really cool. Okay. So many tabs now open. Okay, so Facebook, you make a post and you send it out into the Facebook world. Who's going to see that post? People who like your page, right? But again, as I said, Facebook is getting trickier and trickier in terms of, even if Jamie has liked this page, which she has, she may not see it in her newsfeed because Facebook has, for some reason, come up with this algorithm that she doesn't need to see posts from MFRC. Maybe she hasn't engaged enough, maybe she hasn't shown an interest as Jamie, not as MFRC, and it's trying to do her a favor, but it's really irritating because if we've liked the page, it's kind of, you know, I want to see that information, right? So one of the things that we can do to help, this is a new feature, it's choose the preferred audience for this post, and we can kind of narrow it down a little bit. So in terms of, I've done this a few times just testing it out, and we will preface this little spiel by saying it hasn't been proven that this works any better than just doing a normal post, but it might help a little bit. So for interest, you could write, you know, military. You could write Prince Edward Island, not Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex. Prince Edward Island, you know, you could even just do it as narrow as Cavendish if there was something going on there.
So that'd be all military?
People who have identified an interest, you know how when you create your own Facebook profile, you put some interests and you put where you live and things like that. If it's WR3, right, sporting events, running.
What Facebook kind of does now when it's determining who they're going to send that post to, because at one point when Facebook pages first started, where like a page would be the information page gave, but now Facebook's going to just throw it and see, like they don't really care where the page goes, but they're only going to send it to so many people. And so by doing this, as one really good, for instance, one of our clients is a hairdresser in town, and she was promoting her services, her discount to Holland College students. So rather than having that post be fed to a bunch of random people, we specified people who like Holland College, who are women between the ages of 18 and 34, because that is only going to, that's the preferred audience. So you're not wasting whatever leverage that Facebook might be putting behind you. So it's just a little bit, rather than throwing all the spaghetti at the wall.
So it's more narrow scope.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So under the first tab, preferred audience, is where you could list the interests. So for the WR3, we might try playing around with sporting, running, because you have a lot of people come out to that who aren't necessarily involved with military, but they just like to, you know, partake in races. So the running community on PEI. But then over here, audience restrictions, you can specify the age group and the gender. Yes. So for our hairdressing clients, we had justification to kind of play around with this a little bit. But yeah, for most of your posts, we probably would keep it very open. Locations, though, we can include any city. We can do this particular location tab will let you do a province. So if there's an event taking place in Prince Edward Island, it's not online, we might narrow to just being on PEI. So that's kind of a neat thing. We played around with it for a few different posts. There's no real way to see if it actually works. It's just something we can try. It's right here. So when you do an update, you can add a photo or a video, which we recommend. We always try to add photos because it's one of the ways to boost or increase the chances that Facebook puts it out to the Facebook world. We don't really, this is a more personal one. You can have fun with that if you want. Add a little how you're feeling thing. Location, so actually we could have updated this morning and we could have tagged the Murphy's Community Center just to give a little shout out that we were here. Tells Murphy's Community Center that we're talking about them. It tells the other business communities that we have rented a room here at Murphy's Community Center. Just kind of shares goodwill. We're checking in, kind of like almost like Foursquare kind of thing. Yeah.
So that people who are following Murphy Center will see that you would see that.
Yeah.
And if you're not in somewhere like this, sometimes there's security problems. I don't know if it's probably more of an issue with the military.
Yeah.
You know, if we're where we are.
Exactly. Yes, you guys would have
Problematic.
You would have, if you were having a top secret meeting, and so you probably would not use that feature. No. But the WR3, HMCS Queen Charlotte has its own Facebook page. So if you were there early enough on the morning of the WR3, you might want to just tag them in that. You can tag them or you can add a location. I mean, it's just, again, different ways to increase some visibility. And then that targeting one, it looks like a target. And so choose the preferred audience. Any of these things that you don't know, you just hover over and it gives you an idea of what they are.
Now, is it possible sometime either today or another time to go through how to resize a picture?
I can do that one-on-one with you, Margaret. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Okay, go back to.
I think I have an answer.
You have an answer?
Yeah. It appears that you cannot save a post as a page if they get filed under your personal post.
Well, I found it, but okay. So if I went to my personal one, they would all be there? Test that theory. I'm loving the fact that I chose to put myself face-to-face with a goat for today's presentation. Okay, under save, yeah, they're there. So they're all there together. This is one that I saved ages ago. This was my master's dissertation advisor, and she was doing a new TV series over in England, so I wanted to follow that. But yeah, they're all kind of clumped there together.
They don't get saved as a page, even if
Yeah.
they're saving as a
Just say the pulse.
And that's your personal page.
The personal.
Will it come on your page? Yeah.
Yeah.
On your,
But
on your personal page. But because she did it, will it come on yours?
No.
It's on her personal.
But it shows where I saved it from. So I saved this one. Oh, no, it shows where the origin is from. So this one was originally posted on our page. This one was originally posted on the RCMP.
So if you save a link when you're acting on behalf of the page, it goes to your own page.
Yeah. Okay.
We learn more from these sessions.
That's true. It's a great way to update what we know because Facebook is adding and changing things all the time. Okay, so Facebook Q&A, you guys have kind of been doing this anyway. But if you have any questions about Facebook, not necessarily what's new, but just how to do something, we can certainly go over that. These are some of the things that we had posted in our survey too, and some people knew how to do them and others weren't so sure.
It might be a good time to change that category
Yeah, let's do that.
for campaign as well. I think just something nonprofit.
You can't say anything, you can't make your own statements. Like, what we would want them from,
I think it goes under, like, I think that it helps.
just the Facebook kind of generality.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So might as well do that over.
Sure.
So there's all kinds of settings that you will never ever have to know.
Yeah. Okay. So let's, thank you, Facebook. Let's just delete that. And we can even just leave it off altogether.
So you can only choose one thing that's there.
Yeah. Now, if we want nonprofit, that should be there.
Maybe no dash.
There's supposed to be a dash. Not for profit.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have to add something. Would that be okay?
Organization,
Well, we do have a charity number, I wouldn't use that, charitable organization. I'd be more apt to put nonprofit.
What happens when you start just typing in
Non-denominational church. Nothing. I think Facebook uses the term charity instead of non-for-profit.
Nonprofit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Community,
What's
would
under community?
What about community and government? Yeah.
that work for you? Community
What's
organization?
Community organization.
the organization.
Okay.
Better than-
Okay.
Oh my God, change that picture, would you?
Ah,
So busy.
Yes.
The map is great, but
I'd like to create a banner for you guys.
yeah, that's just very distracting and doesn't do anything for anyone.
you're so talented that you can create a banner. That's really cool.
There's really cool online programs that kind of do the complicated part of that for you. So if we're interested, can always find out information about who's liking our page.
So where did you go for that?
I went under Insights at the top, and once you are in a min, you have access to this. If you're not in a min, I can't go to PEI Burger Love and see their insights. This is only information if you're in a min of a page.
What's the 234% people reach? Is that more than what?
That's up to 134. For some reason, because Facebook changed their notes and they made it very visually appealing the way that they do notes now. And so I took the previous note for local discounts and redid it. I just copied it into a new format. And I don't know why, because again, mystery, but this had a reach of over 1,300 people. Doesn't mean that 1,300 people read this particular note. It means that it had the potential to be viewed by over 1,300 people. It showed up in the news feeds. You can't tell if somebody just scrolled by it or if they clicked on it and read it. So our post reach this week went up crazy amounts because for some reason Facebook really liked that note. So
the post engagement lets you know how many people actually.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I went up like 234%, Margaret. I would say we can specify or attribute that to that one particular post. What we find with your page, we don't get a lot of engagement on it, but people are finding information from it. So they may not be commenting on it, but people are, they do find out some information from it. So.
There you are, Jamie.
Okay. That's the one thing. I wish we could use Facebook now as a page because I get all of my personal notifications popping up while I'm doing this. It's a bit irritating. That wouldn't happen if I could switch. Yeah. Anyway, apologize for that.
With all the certain of my friends, I really hope are not.
Yeah, I'm getting mostly editor global stuff.
Right now, you're the only administrator.
No, I've temporarily added Jamie's an administrator. She has been from day one of this. And Margaret is because of the virtual things that she's been posting. And I've added you guys as well just so we can play around. So here, if you want to dig a little further, we can compare the types of posts. So we had no reach or engagement on closing your offices today. There was no photo with that. And sometimes we can tell if you post a photo or if you post a link how that affects the reach of a particular post. So it's kind of a neat thing to look at.
Was the photo then just our map, like our logo?
That was just a text one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Again, this isn't anything to be too concerned or, you can kind of spend so much time looking at insights and driving yourself a little bit crazy. Facebook is Facebook and it's going to send out what it wants to send out. So you have, what we try to do with you guys is, like Jamie said at the beginning, try to increase your visibility. Commenting on some pages where there are a lot of people who might be tuning in, who may not know about you, but also just providing the right information on your page for people who do know about you and they can come and check on their own. It's a little bit different with Twitter, but for Facebook, that's kind of where you are. Publishing tools, this is how you can schedule a post. You can do that directly from the page too. So if you want to post about the WR3, but you're concerned that everybody's race day is going to be racing down, somebody might not be online at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you want to kind of post something even at 6:30 in the morning, but schedule it for the next hour. You can do that through this little button here. Set the date and time of your post.
Programming TV.
You can monitor so you're not posting the same time somebody else is posting, right? You can check your posts
Yeah.
schedule.
So actually that, I apologize. It's actually over here under publish. If you press that little arrow down and it says schedule, then you can put in the time. And the date is the date that you are currently in. Sorry, the time is the time you are currently in. So it's set to your own time zone. So right now it is, if I want to post at 10:37, because Facebook likes you to be, when you're scheduling it, you have to be 10 minutes ahead. You either post live or you post 10 minutes, and then from there on, this is the correct time that we are in now that I've set your page to be in Atlantic Standard Time. So you don't have to worry about time zones when you're doing this. So you can click on that and pick any date you want, you know, random May 30th, and enter the time that you want, and then click on schedule. Right now we have 2 scheduled posts in there already. This is helpful for you, Margaret, too. You're asking how you can tell if what's already going on. You don't want to mess people up. And we don't want to have too many posts back to back. We want to space them out. So if you're doing a post that on your own, maybe it's pertaining to one of the virtual sessions, you can come in here and see what's already been scheduled. We usually schedule ahead of time unless it's like a storm kind of thing, something that we need to post right in the moment. So we have something going out today close to 2 o'clock. I try to do random times just to make it look like we're live, not necessarily look like we're scheduling all the time. And something going out tomorrow close to 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you want to post tomorrow at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, then you'd be absolutely fine to do so.
Okay.
Jamie and I use that a lot too because we co-admins on several pages, so I want to know what she's set up. If she wants to know what I've set up, we don't want to necessarily be posting 2 posts within 5 minutes and then nothing for 2 days, right? Okay, any other questions about Facebook before we break for some coffee and treats here?
Well, it's so massive, I guess that's the thing. It's like going on the computer those first few times. You're a little bit timid to, you know, to maybe do something wrong. Really the only way to get to learn is to explore.
Absolutely. And like you saw here this morning, like they're always changing stuff. We have to look things up ourselves to find out what are they doing now. How do you see that? It's ongoing. Things change daily. Now there's a great online community for that. So like Jamie just went on to Google and said, how do I? And you can get the answer within seconds, right? I watched a really great video this week that walked me through how to use Facebook as a page because it was all changed and how you do those shortcuts. So and look, we just jumped up to 3 contact us, click buttons. That's kind of cool.
So
Hey, that's great.
Yeah. It can also tell you too, like we could be doing a little bit better with responding to our messages. Part of that too is because Jamie and I are tasked with this, and we have many other clients too. So if we set up that autoresponder, if we make, if we have some of you guys take on that responsibility too, we could drop that down. Ideally, we want to see that not days but hours. We want to see people responding within hours. People cannot see this. If you come to your page, they're not seeing all of these stats. They don't know it's going to take you this time. They don't know that 3 people clicked on that button. They don't know that what your post reach is. This is for your information.
We don't know who clicked on the button, right?
No. They can see response time. It's written, it's posted over here somewhere, but yeah. No, we can't tell who clicked on the button, no.
So going back to messages, so what kind of messages now would be relevant to the work we're doing, or just like questions?
Yeah, we get various questions. You don't have a high traffic when it comes to messaging. Once every couple of months we'll get something.
But you usually know the answers, or you just?
If I don't, I definitely pass it on to Donna. Sometimes it's just a clarification where location is. I've had a couple of people trying to track down, there's somebody trying to track down like a specific metal or a type of hat. I'm not sure. Anyway, I passed that one on to Donna. So, yeah. Somebody was wanting to offer a military discount from businesses, so I'll pass them on too for further information. So, yeah. And then there's Margaret will message too. All right. Well, we have coffee and some goodies here, Margaret. If you want to take a little break yourself and get some coffee or water, and
All right.
anyone
Hey, did you guys know that CF1 Appreciation will advertise for local places if they wanted to be part of the program?
No.
So, like all these companies that we see that are giving 10% or 15% discount, they could actually have their website for free on the CF1 page and sharing that information. So if anybody wants to go to PEI, they click PEI and all their information would come up.
So to do that, do they have to contact the CF1?
They do. How about if I send you a little note, we could add that to one of the posts?
We could add it to a post. That would be great. I think it would help, though, to contact the businesses specifically because they may not be following our page. So that would be great to let them know.
Okay. And I can include the recording of the CF1 so that they can know more about it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Maybe you could pause the recording of this too, Margaret.
I can.
Thank you.
Margaret, listen to me.
And we're on.
Welcome back. Before we move on to Twitter, I was just, it just hit me about anyone having any questions about the kind of information that we share on Facebook or we come to.
I thought that was going to be a discussion too that Donna was going to bring in so that we can make sure that we're consistent. Is that?
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's some flexibility there in terms of what we post. I guess for you guys, it would be more of a what we don't post kind of conversation to have.
If your administrator is limited, then it's really not a concern, is it? I mean,
It's also just to be in agreement with the types of things that Jamie and I are posting on your behalf and things like that as well. So we have been sticking primarily to services that you provide to the events calendar, you know, the virtual sessions, those types of information. Mark is having a dance party over there. Any blog posts that we do, that kind of stuff. It's been very much like an out kind of conversation. Here's what we offer for you. We bring in some national things too, so all the mental health resources that the Canadian Forces have been posting on their website, we've been promoting that. But it is very much to a specific community. The odd time, like over March break, Family Day, we'll kind of have a broader range of here are some free activities for the kids. There was once or twice we posted just a recipe, and those are just to kind of try and get different people's interests.
I think we should put some, you know, like some very appropriate cartoons from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that are funny, but
yep.
for all ages, you know, but it's also.
We do try to put a little bit of humor in from time to time, because people like a laugh.
People try that and see what's posted there.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. There was one organization I worked years ago, and it was a community organization, kind of not unlike this one. What we would do is every week we would have a blog post that would go on Facebook with family-friendly things to do over the next week in Prince Edward Island. So you would simply just scour the things to do calendar that the province kind of puts out and keep your eyes peeled and just put it together for people.
Lower no cost.
Yeah, lower no cost, or just things
Yeah.
that people might not realize, like it's the open farm day or like all.
Absolutely.
That would be great, and that would be great if we did that once a week. One of the things we recently started doing was on Fridays, we've been going through our list of local businesses who offer discounts, and we've been doing like a big profile on each one. We're at like week 3 or 4 now, and that we tag them and they feel good about it and put their logo up and give the details of that specific discount, and then we provide the link to all of the discounts. That's on Fridays. But that's a great idea if we wanted to do that, say, on like Wednesdays or Thursdays or something that would help. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
What
Well,
about something like a can you find that brings them to the page? Can they find something if you have, let them know where it is?
okay.
Trying to get them
You mean-
engaged in looking on the page. and
So something
coming
that we
back
have
to
on our page specifically?
Yeah, or
Like a trivia?
another local business, but you have to post like on our page.
Mm.
Did you see this? If you have,
Let us know.
let us know.
That's a good way to try and get some engagement in.
Would we have prizes?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The novelty show.
We try this across the board with several of our clients. We try and get people to, tag us in their photos and that kind of thing too. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. We can't force people to do things, but we can certainly try different techniques.
I have a question, because so many of my questions are so unique what's going on.
No, they're not.
I don't want to waste your time, but you know they're tagging people.
Okay.
I don't really know the
Mhm.
purpose of tagging and how you do that.
Fair question. We didn't go over that today.
That is a great question, Bernie. I have the same one.
Sometimes when you're and sometimes when you're so immersed. So Jamie and I have been working. I'll tell you a story to make you feel a little bit part of this. We've been working on our taxes for the year for the past 3 or 4 months. It's been a process, and our accountant will send us emails. We do not understand a single word beyond "Hi guys." Email, and it makes us, because it's just, she's immersed in that language all the time. It's very familiar to her.
Within seconds of email, Christine and I.
I'm usually in tears. We passively aggressively leave it as bolded. I'm like, I'm not reading that email, because we don't understand, and we've had to tell her, look,
My patented unread move.
which I now know about. So we have the same reaction, and we say to her, we're sorry, we just don't understand. But it's because that's not our, and that's why we have her, right, so to do this stuff for us. We're almost there, by the way. So it's not at all a silly question, and we're immersed in this all the time, that we just throw lingo out that, so we have no problem explaining this.
I think you guys talk about the military act.
Maybe you wouldn't. I still don't know about it. Tagging somebody is a way to let them know that we're talking about them. So if we're in a room and we have 2 rooms here, and I'm having a conversation with you, and I mention Ed, okay, and I'll say, well, Ed's great for it. Even he might, yeah, exactly. He may be in another room. He may hear his name, but unless we have a way to let him know, he's not going to come running into that conversation, even though he would be very helpful in terms of answering the questions we had. So if I'm, say, for example, I'm giving a shout out to Blue Ribbon because they give 10% to military families, and people with pets go through a lot of supplies, especially when you have a lab, I want to tag them because I want them to know that we're talking about them. And so what that means on Facebook is hyperlinking. Do you know what I mean by hyperlinking? So they will get a notification that I'm talking about them, and if I click on their name, it'll bring me to their page. So I will bring up an example of what I mean.
Anything on the internet that's blue.
Sure.
That's a hyperlink.
Okay.
Oh,
Right. So we sometimes when we're posting for you guys, we feel like we're talking to ourselves a little bit, but we posted that you guys will be hanging out with us this morning, and we wanted MSRC to let Manly Men Media know that they were talking about us, even though. So we tagged them, and that means that we got a notification this morning that you were mentioned. But anybody coming to this, what's Manly Men Media? I've never heard of them before. I'll click on them, and it'll go to our page. Right? It's a goodwill kind of gesture.
So all you did was just point the arrow at that, and
In order to tag, you need to press the @ symbol and start typing, and then it automatically will create a hyperlink for you.
So I will show you how to do that. So if you're CCing somebody in an email, you have that CC field, right? So in here, that's the @ symbol. Oh, thanks, Jamie. The @ symbol is it's just the formatting that you use for Facebook. And I'm looking for Murphy's. There we go. So I just started typing because Facebook is tuned in, and it's like an alphabetical formula, and they'll just keep throwing options at me that are close to it until something that I want shows up. And then I just click on that. And now that's going to be hyperlinked.
then you, so there, that is obviously you just click on it.
And when do you use the hashtag? So that's the number sign.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
advanced marketing.
We'll get to that. So I will type that again. I'm just going to copy some of this to save some time just to show you. So if I just typed Murphy's Community Center, they're not going to know that I'm talking about this.
So nice of us to thank them, but they have no idea we're talking
Yeah,
about them.
and we kind of want to invite them on the conversation because then they might be aware of you guys. And a staff member here might have somebody who they know, who's neighbors, and that's how PEI works, right? So we want to let people know when we're talking about them. So to do that, it's the @ symbol, and I typed M, nothing showed up. MU, well, I'm not thanking mutants or any of these kind of people. As soon as I type R, then that option came up. It's just Facebook can read minds.
So if in most cases what I see,
And like, where's the
somebody being tagged into a post.
It's the publish.
Yeah, I'm going to publish that in a minute.
So, well, they say, where I was tagged into the photo, I made a notification that I was tagged in this photo or something. So that's people just kind of giving me the opportunity to.
Untag yourself.
Untag myself.
Yeah.
When you're tagged in a photo, that photo of you appears in your Facebook photos as
There.
well.
So I pressed publish there, and now that went live. So now it's hyperlinked, and that'll link back to their
So,
page.
so if I want to take someone's photo, then I'll just do that.
Yep.
And just
Yep.
put their name in.
There's actually a little tag icon in a
Yeah.
photograph
Yeah.
that lets you tag.
Yeah,
somebody.
photos work a little bit differently. If I were to
Tag so.
let's go to Soleil. So if I wanted to tag her, there's the option right there. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, she's cute looking.
These
She
photos,
should
good
be her
girl.
bed now, does she? She's kind of growing out of her bed.
That's not even her bed, but yeah,
There you go.
Your feet tall, so she's going.
she is
How old is
already 8 months. She's pretty big already.
She's gonna be.
Look at the paws. Look at the size of her paws.
These are our assistants. So we have Soleil. We have my senior citizen dog, Ryder.
Yeah, always good to include senior citizens.
It's always good to include the senior citizens. You're right. This is Gizmo, Jamie's cat.
My cats are severely inbred and have the extra thumbs, and so their paws are.
They're brother and sister too, and Squeezy. So yeah, we have assistants, but they're under contract negotiation because they've been sleeping on the job. Okay, so Facebook. Any other questions? We can move on to Twitter.
I have a question. Were you
Sure.
at Lori's farm?
Yes,
Isn't she fabulous?
she is fabulous. The goat farm on PEI. Yeah, we took the kids there last weekend.
Did they love it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or such wonderful.
Where is that?
It's not far from where I live. It's just in Hampshire. So it's like a 10-minute drive for us. And they let my 8-year-old could pick up a baby goat. She was holding baby chicks. Like they were. Yeah. It's a feel-good kind of.
Or just open some doors.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the world of Twitter. Yay. Twitter. How do we feel about Twitter?
Go ahead, Julie.
Well, I don't really consider it a friend.
Our business is Twitter. So
I don't see how, I don't understand how it is successful. I don't understand how it gets the message out.
Okay.
Because there's no pictures, right?
I think we're so excited
Oh.
once you get more immersed in it. So where Facebook is becoming more and more clunky as the days and months go by. And there's so many features that are changing all the time and privacy settings, and Facebook is deciding who gets to see what and based on who's paying the most money in advertising. It's becoming it's much more corporate and more closed than with Twitter, which is still wide open. And there is Twitter advertising, but it's certainly not commonplace yet.
It's more subtle.
It's more subtle. So where Facebook is really, when you're putting out information, and it's really sorry to say because Facebook seems to be the preferred platform for so many people, but
it's a gamble that anyone is actually seeing any of the content that you're putting out there. With Twitter, every single person that follows you could potentially see your messaging. It's just whether or not they're checking their feed. So everything that, every person that likes MFRC's Twitter gets to see everything that MFRC is putting out there. They get to freely share it. Anyone can like, or anyone can follow you on Twitter. It's just totally wide open. And it's easier to share on Twitter. You just click the little retweet button, and if I retweet something that MFRC puts out there, then all of my followers can potentially see that. It's much more direct form of sharing. It's more viral. So with myself personally, I have like 3,000 followers, and so if I share something that PEI MFRC put out there, that's potentially 3,000 people that see that, plus the people that they kind of share it with. So it's a much more powerful tool, and with hashtagging, which we can get into a little bit more, it's really easy to get involved in relevant conversations and to be found by people who want what you're offering.
I find with Twitter it's easier to find the information that I'm looking for than Facebook, because Jamie's right, Facebook is becoming cluttered. So perfect example, you know, a couple of weeks ago, there was some stormy weather and I was still in bed and I was wondering if schools were closed, right? And I don't have radio. And so I opened Facebook and it's full. Couldn't find it.
Full of shit.
Yes. Full of advertisements,
Twitter,
you know, people commenting on photos that were posted 3 days ago. I couldn't find it. As soon as I went to Twitter, second one down, schools are closed. Great. That's the information that I'm looking for. And it's because Facebook is reorganizing it. It's not all chronological. And Twitter right now, they do still have, there's this little section that says while you were away, and they include like 3 or 4 little tweets from however many hours ago. But other than that, the primary feed is by chronological order, so you can look at events as they happen.
The other great thing about Twitter with that same thought is that it seems to cluster your conversations for you, so it's easier to follow. So if you see one person asking if schools were closed, you can click on their conversation and see other people who replied to them, where Facebook is not that easy to find stuff. And plus with Twitter, I can just search all of the tweets in the whole entire world and say PEI schools closed, and within seconds I'm going to see all of those tweets. It seems like it's complicated. It's a much more simple and more powerful tool. And as far as demographics go, I believe it's the one with the most, I don't want to say the oldest demographic of people on the internet. It seems to be people in their 40s, 30s and 40s are really using Twitter a lot more too, where Facebook is no longer being used by young people.
Yeah.
It's kind of going to catch most of your demographics.
Yeah. So one account that they're doing a fantastic job is the RCMP here in town, and they patrol, and they have 2 people in the car, not texting.
They're always sweet.
And they're always road conditions.
Funny.
And yes,
Easter.
I didn't see Easter, but they have a sense of humor. They thank people for pulling over. They'll say, like, to the driver of the blue Corolla, you know, and you're thinking that they're going to call them out for something. But thank you for pulling over to answer your phone. We saw you. High five.
On Monday morning, one of them had a bunny on his windshield. And it was the Easter bunny found in Stratford this year. Yeah. One of the other, or the bunny, I don't know, a bunny on his car. Just they're really easy.
But they're updating road conditions that not necessarily might be on the radio, because they might be secondary roads that not everybody's using. If there's a car accident, they're tweeting to avoid a certain area, and it takes longer for that information to get out there to the radio and to news outlets through Facebook. So that particular account, they're doing a fantastic job. So you guys have more followers on Twitter than you do have likes on Facebook. That is common. I would say that's a pretty good rule for any kind of business account or even personal account out there.
So followers who we are following.
Yeah, you have, exactly. You have 815 followers right now. and you're following close to 2,000. The discrepancy there is because I tend to, for you guys, follow as many people who mention PEI as I can find, just in case. It's the island thing. You live in PEI, that means you might know somebody who might know somebody who might be a grandparent of somebody who knows somebody who's in the military. So we follow people, and not all of them will follow back because they may not have an interest, and that's okay. So that's why. And I also follow a lot of business accounts, again, like the RCMP, to retweet and to share information and to engage with them. Because if we start engaging with a very active Twitter account like the RCMP, and they become aware of us, they're going to start sharing our information too. So the next time I post about the WR3, the RCMP might give it a retweet. And so many people are following them that then more people know about it.
I have a question. I want to send a shout out to you guys, Manly Man, to say thanks. So what do I do? Do I do a hashtag or do I do the little @ symbol?
You do the @ symbol.
Okay,
Works the same way as in Facebook.
That's the question I was
Mm-hmm.
so it's the hashtag.
Yeah, well,
That's a way back.
how about let's go over hashtags too?
Your own personal account linked to this account like it does on Facebook?
No.
You have to log in and log out.
Yeah. Now you can use, and this is like another workshop, but you can use a different program. We use a program called Hootsuite, and we can add different accounts to that, and we can switch back and forth. But Twitter itself, no, you have to log in and log out.
Something just popped up and said that she lost it.
Okay, Google.
Said I'm trying to figure out how I lost it.
See if we can find her again. Are you back, Margaret? Did we lose you? Can't hear you.
Yes, we lost for a minute.
Okay. Are you back? I think you're back.
I'm back.
Okay, let's go back then. Welcome back.
So when I put the @ symbol to Manly Man Media,
Yep.
do you get notifications?
We sure do.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And
So
that's
can you
what,
show me what that looks like? Because
Sure
I just
can.
sent you something and I'm very interested to see what it is.
okay. You're testing my ability to remember our password. Oh, look, I got it keyed in. That's great. Okay. So we haven't looked at our notifications in a while, clearly. So we'll click on that, notifications, and there you are.
Okay, cool.
Ah.
All right, and we'll give you a little heart for that because that was really nice.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
So you don't look at your notifications very often, or why is there 42?
We do. It's just, well, what Twitter has done is condensed what they call a notification. So anytime somebody likes our tweet or retweets or does anything, we get a notification. And we put a whole bunch of tweets out yesterday, so that's probably what's been happening there.
We sort of pump them, and we use a different program.
Yeah, we use a different program, and when we see all those mentions and likes on that other program, we're still getting notifications on Twitter itself. Okay, so let's log you guys back in. So of course, we would have to set you guys up with, the MFRC password and everything for Twitter. There's a login information. But would it help to give a little bit of overview of Twitter? We just want to keep, okay. So here's your Twitter main page. And it's similar to Facebook in that you have a news feed that takes up the majority of your real estate on your page. And the news feed is people that you're following and all of their updates. Stuff that you're interested in terms of your specific account is at the top. Notifications and this information here. So the first thing that I would do when you come to Twitter is see who's talking about you, and that would be notifications. That looks the same as in Facebook. You get that little number there. And that's probably us because you had mentioned You'd mentioned us in the MFRC as well. So we just liked your tweet, and we liked some other tweets. Okay?
The best idea of all would probably be to create your own Twitter account
And play.
for your own personal information, and you'll catch on that it's the best way to get news. It's a really good way to stay, especially locally. It's a really good way to stay plugged in, because it can be really overwhelming to start thinking about doing or using Twitter on behalf of an organization we don't quite understand to do with it as an individual.
Yeah, it would be, that's a good idea. So Margaret, you can see on the screen that Twitter now does let you use not only photos, but videos.
Ah, okay.
Do you know, Margaret, what I've used Twitter for example, last year at the WR3 race, I took pictures and I tagged, or whatever, what do you call it on Twitter?
It's still tagged.
I tagged people in the picture, like PEI MFRC and Manly Man Media, and if somebody gave me their address. So that was kind of cool.
That was great.
Yeah, I think people appreciated that, and then they can save the image that I have on my Twitter.
Yeah.
So
And when you tag in Twitter, do you use the number sign or the hashtag sign?
it's the @ sign. It works the same way as in Facebook. So I don't know if Murphy's actually has one.
Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah. So the exact same thing.
Okay.
When you think of the @ symbol across both platforms is when you're actually shouting at somebody, you need that little @ symbol. And the hashtag, the pound symbol, is just if you're going to be organizing or if you want to be searching on a certain page.
We'll get to the hashtag.
Well, to retweet would be asked.
Retweet is sharing.
Yeah, so when you retweet,
So if I thought that this was something important enough, that the Gahan House had this really great special going on, I'm not actually going to retweet, but I would press this button. It works the same as a share.
You can't add any comment, or not comments, but
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can? How do you do that?
there's an option for quote and retweet. Whenever you go in the little retweet zone.
So what's that?
Let's find one that you can actually retweet.
The problem is with the character count.
Yeah, so Twitter works, let's back it up a little bit. Twitter still works with 140 character count, and that includes spaces and punctuation and everything like that, okay? And that's to keep things short. They don't want people, I mean, you see Facebook posts, people are talking for pages. They don't want that. They want this to be very concise snippets of information. It includes your URLs, it includes all of that stuff. When you're retweeting, you have to also keep that in mind, because retweet, you're going to add the RT. That's how you can tell it's a retweet. And then if you do add any of your own information, that will also be included in the character account. So let's retweet this. Manly Man Media said yesterday that we were looking forward to chatting with you. So if you wanted to retweet that, here's how that would pop up. Okay. Right?
Now when you said RT.
It shows up
You have
in
to
the,
put it on.
we don't have to put it up, no, because I pressed, yeah, Twitter does it for you.
And is that part of the 140 characters?
The RT would be. I said, well, no, maybe not, if it's not showing up here. See how my characters, this number here, 110, that's how many characters I have left to type. Okay.
So when you tweet this, then, if it only goes to the people who are, who's it going to?
Okay.
I have Facebook and I have 16 friends.
So on Twitter, if they were your followers, it's what all of them.
How do we get followers? Only 16 of them.
You would follow other people.
What a gift.
So here we have this account has 815 followers, so this just went out to 815 people who are watching us.
So I have to find followers?
Yeah.
The best way to get followers is to like, or to follow other people. And with Twitter, 9 times out of 10, the people that you follow will follow you back.
Yeah. If you were setting up your own Twitter account, That is probably the hardest step. I would say people open up Twitter and they don't know how to find followers. Nobody's talking to them, and then within like a week they shut it down and give up on Twitter. That happens all the time. So you have to have a little bit more patience with Twitter for people to find you. But if you want to find people right away, I would go to high-profile accounts, people who follow The Guardian, PEI, which is our newspaper here. Margaret has a lot of followers, and you can click on any account and see who's following them. So if you were interested to find out who we're following or who follows us, all that information is open.
When you think about it, chances are that us as a local company, we're mostly going to be following local people or being followed by local people.
Go down to following.
So you can go in and just like the people that we follow.
So some of these people the MFRC already follows because there's shared interest. So I'm logged in here as MFRC. I'm not logged in as Manly Man. I just went to the Manly Man profile. And I could see if this Erica person, if I wanted to follow her, I would click on follow, right? If I wanted to follow any of these accounts, and that's how you grow your following. We tend to look at, either through location, and if I'm looking for more PEI people, I would go to The Guardian, I would go to The Buzz, I would go to, the radio stations are all on Twitter, and find the people who are following those accounts.
I actually have a list with my Twitter account called PEI. So every single person in that list is a local person. So if you went and poked through my Twitter account, you'd see a list of a whole bunch of PEI people that you might see.
She's not following you?
No, somebody talking about her. So yes, basically with Twitter, we kind of not necessarily steal followers, but we kind of go browsing and sneaking and seeing who other people are following and then kind of follow them.
I was following quite a few people. I kind of left it too.
How come you had to set up a new account?
Well, that was just because I took the app, it's just on my app, phone.
Right.
Going back in there, it wouldn't accept.
Your password?
Yeah. So I had to change, so I just kind of changed it. But I'm back in now. I don't remember what it's called.
It's really like on a personal level, whatever interest that you have, you can organize. Like for me, I like learning about branding, different things, different copywriting, all kinds of people that are tweeting specific articles and things that I'm personally interested in. And so I organize all of
So there's a tool in the
Yeah.
app to
organize.
You can.
folders?
Yeah, so I'm following a whole whack of people, but I only really care about
Go to your account to show.
So I have them set up as lists so that in the morning I look at my PEI list. So I get all my local news.
Are your
And-
lists public?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you went to Jamie's account here and you went to lists, she's created, she's done a much better job than me. I started to do this and then I fell off the wagon, but she has, she has all kinds of different lists. So if she's looking to just, you know what, I want to get up in the morning, I'm only interested in reading about food, or people who are tweeting about food, she can click on that, or PEI. There's 718 people that she's ascribed to that particular list.
Whenever I follow someone local, I put them in because I want to know what's going on in my local.
Can you go back? You have virtual assistants and that's a category?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
I used to be one.
Am I in there?
Oh, that's when I started my business. I've been on Twitter since 2007.
Jamie was talking to herself because
Yeah,
she was
there's
probably the
nobody
first
else.
user of Twitter. It was like when they were, with the telegraph system. Hello, anybody out there?
Yeah.
So Twitter's great. It's a big giant news feature that we kind of think of it as.
Particularly after they're always tweeting.
People live tweet sporting events if you're not there. The Islanders, I mean, people are, if you're, the hockey games, they're live tweeting it.
The Oscars.
Oscars.
I have to watch the Oscars.
I don't have TV, but I don't need it because I hop on Twitter and I know who won each award as, and then I can go off and do whatever I want to do. Whenever I'm trying to make a decision, what book should I read next? What washing machine should I purchase? I put it up on Twitter. I get people's opinions. People like to talk.
Space, we ask
Yeah.
Twitter where are good
Yeah,
meeting places in downtown Charlottetown. And
that had Wi-Fi,
Center
yeah.
was mentioned, and then they replied.
Yeah.
And, do they bring up people for you to follow, like, you know?
Yeah, right here.
Suggested.
So these people are being suggested to you because I can tell you at least 2 of them live in PEI. And so the majority of the people that we've been following from your account live in PEI. Some not. There's some like there's a I don't know if it's Atlantic Canada or Maritime, but there's this cadet association that tweets, and these group of young people with the cadets, and they're going all over the place. And there's kind of a cute little account to follow, so I follow them. And same thing, some of the national groups, you know, like the magazine and MFS and all of those people are on Twitter as well. But a lot of your followers are PEI people. That's why these people. But if I wasn't interested in, say, we want to maybe stay away, it will bring up. I could do this for hours, and it would just keep suggesting people. Sometimes I get. So if I don't want to follow West River Karate, I might not. Lee McLaughlin. So it will suggest them.
There are some fake ways.
Yeah, you have to be careful with the accounts of politicians. Some of them are spoof accounts that you don't want to actually end up following.
I was going to say, it would be hard with the politician to know whether it was spoof.
You know, it's made up by people who want to make fun of them. So all you do is go to their feed, and you can tell right away if it's legit. There's a difference between a spoof account and an account that maybe is being managed by somebody else. A lot of the politicians might have assistants that are managing it for them, but they're still legit accounts. But the spoof ones would be very much making fun of certain things and people and not so nice kind of content.
What security do you have to be aware of in Twitter?
Oh, just 1 second. Margaret, Bernie, what was you saying?
So somebody could pretend to be me and be spouting off things that they that I'm just going to talk about.
It's,
There may be all kinds of people out there.
it's possible. The spoof accounts tend to be for more like the celebrity, famous kind of thing. But on the internet, anything is possible in terms of that, yes. Yeah.
I would take it as a high compliment.
I would be flattered.
Someone had enough time to create a.
Margaret, you asked about security.
Yes.
Do you mean like in terms of what Bernie mentioned, protecting your identity, or?
Exactly. If somebody was doing something on my behalf or something like that, security like that, yeah.
I think you can report accounts. So if you found one, you could report it to Twitter. There's nothing stopping anybody from creating fake accounts, whether they're Facebook, whether it's an email account, whether it's anything on the internet. If you have malicious intent, you can certainly do that for anybody.
Right.
And
Okay.
it doesn't matter if you're actually on Twitter or not. You know, somebody could still still do it. Yeah. If you are of certain celebrity status, you can apply to Twitter to have what's called a verified account. So if I'm looking for Jennifer Lopez and I want to follow her, if I type in Jennifer Lopez, I bet you there's like probably 200 accounts that are going to show up. But one of them will have a verified stamp next to it, and that's actually coming from her and her PR people rather than fans.
Twitter decides who's verified.
Twitter does?
Yeah, nobody can apply. Twitter uses some sort of algorithm where they determine that someone is media or celebrity.
Okay. But the verified one would be coming from that actual person.
Yes, that's the real
Yeah.
one. Like Teresa Wright on
Yeah.
The Guardian, she's verified. I have no idea how she did that. Because usually it's just for
Celebrity people.
celebrity people, but because she's media, she must.
What did she do?
She has a little verified
Yeah.
modifier. All those little blue.
The blue check mark, right?
So what does that mean exactly?
Means if you see another imposter, or if you see another Teresa Wright account
Has that?
that doesn't have the blue, then it's someone with a spoof or a phony account.
So if we were, Jennifer Lopez just popped into our feed. So there used to be an account thing here too. Okay, anyway. These are all the people who claim to be affiliated. See, there's a Jennifer Lopez fans, right? Jennifer Lopez fans, Jennifer Lopez fans. That's not her. Jennifer Lynn Lopez. But I made this account to tweet about my inspiration role model, so it's not her. But if you look at the first one, there's this little blue check mark, and that's called a verified account. So that's her and her PR people tweeting and letting people know what she's up to.
What's DM? So under James Gordon, the Gordon, it says, I don't read
Oh,
DM.
direct messages.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't want to read direct messages.
Yeah, a lot of authors and celebrities will say right in their descriptions, do not read your tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not using it they should come to one of our sessions. So this is where you will find your news, and it gets updated all the time. All right, this little number here will jump as we go on. And now, this particular tweet by Dave Atkinson was actually written on March 2nd, but somebody who you guys follow just retweeted it, and that's why it's popping up at the top of your feed. So Twitter is by chronological order, but Alona Daniel just retweeted this, like, now. That's why some of them will have, you know, an older date at the top, whereas this one says it was written like 1 minute ago, 51 minutes ago, kind of thing. So your account, let's go check out your Twitter homepage.
That's a lot of tweets.
Yeah.
Very chatty.
We've been trying to be chatty for you. Okay, so you had, yes, close to 1,500 tweets. You can view your tweets. You can view your tweets and replies. This will show you when you're talking to people, so what you've said to people. I don't know if we've had any recently. We might not have had any recently. Like with Facebook, your engagement on Twitter, like in terms of actual conversations, it's pretty low. We're working on getting it up there. Here they are. So somebody made a tweet about, I think this one had to do with the running room, and so I just replied.
How do you go about getting more followers?
It's a process. It involves patience and time and stalking. So I would go to, again, those high-profile accounts. But really, it's detective work because it depends on what people put in their bios, right, whether you choose to follow somebody. So there could be somebody on the island who has a military family member, but they don't put that information in their bio, so you may not know that. Now, I do keyword searches for you guys all the time, so I'll type in, you can search by, not just by name, but by kind of subject. So I'll do a search for PEI military and see what comes up. And then sometimes based on that, I'll be able to increase your followers. But if you're really targeting like that, it's going to be slow. It's going to be like 1 new follower a week. With PEI being as it is, we tend to just go broad and follow everyone that we can find who lives on PEI. Because it's not going to hurt us to know about them, right? And then as we get to know, there's been a couple of people I've followed and found out through reading their news feed, I'm like, wow, this isn't really something that you can always unfollow somebody. So I do look for keywords to try and find many of the tweets that come up for those keywords are ourselves, but to see if there's things, and I'll not just do PI military, to PI Army, PI Navy. I try to think what people in that particular group would be tweeting about. Right. You know, HMCS Queen Charlotte. I'll try all those kind of combinations.
They tweet?
What?
Do they have somebody that tweets?
I don't know. I know they're on Facebook. I don't think they're actually on Twitter themselves, but somebody might be tweeting about them.
Might make more mention of it in a newsletter too, to let people know.
Yeah. So no, they're not. But I mean, Kerry Campbell's a reporter, and he mentioned, you know, the HMCS Queen Charlotte, but he's a reporter. I do actually follow him because it's good to be in the know, but that's an example of a tweet that's kind of isolated. Doesn't necessarily mean he is a military member. He's writing as a member.
If you click on that bold HMCS, does that bring you to their website?
No, because this is not hyperlinked. They don't have a Twitter account. It's bolded because this was the search field that I chose.
Ah, of course.
Right. So any kind of mention within this particular one shows that up. These are really kind of advanced, kind of sneaky Twitter moves that you can use. But my best advice is just to go broad with try and get PEI people. So to go to those high-profile accounts and just start randomly following a bunch.
Doesn't it look bad though to have more, to be following more people than having followers?
No, not necessarily. It would look worse if that was the reverse, because this shows that we follow everybody back.
Oh, okay.
Right, there's
Then
been
you're
a-
not very discerning.
There's been accounts where, especially with celebrities, you'll see like millions of followers and they're following like 10 people.
Like Chef Michael Smith would be a good example of someone who has a team managing his account, but it's just to talk about Michael Smith, it's not to
Yeah.
engage.
So he has over 55,000 followers, but he's following 266. That looks worse because that means
Yeah.
he's not
He
following,
doesn't
right?
care
Right?
What other people are saying, that's how that
Yeah.
looks.
But it would be very hard for him to follow 55,000 followers, wouldn't it?
Indeed, he would have to have his team create lists for him.
It might be nice if he had a little more balance,
Yeah.
like, you know.
And he could create a list, so he could, and you can make your list private, so you could even have a list that just says like people I care about, and it would be private and nobody would know. But it would look better if he could close that gap a little bit more.
Is there a possibility for a fee to pay for extra services?
Not yet. No, everything in Twitter is free. So no.
See, yeah, you can set up a Twitter account on the laptop, bring all of that up just like Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do the same on your phone?
Yep. Twitter's actually a bit easier on your phone, I find, just because I'm so used to scrolling on my phone. Yeah. Everything's a bit smaller. You can kind of just go scrolling through it a bit faster. So the types of tweets we've been sending out, very similar to Facebook, but just more concise. All right, we're tweeting about what you guys are up to, the virtual sessions, recordings. Been retweeting, WR3 has its own Twitter account, so every time they've been posting, we've been retweeting them and engaging with them. But it's just more concise. Okay, want to tackle hashtags? Who's ready for hashtags?
Any other questions before we talk about hashtags?
Bring it on.
A hashtag is, if all you kind of come away from this is a good understanding of a hashtag, I'll be a happy person. Because it's hard to get your mind around it a little bit. So if you can imagine the Twitterverse as a filing cabinet, okay? Every single tweet that goes out that doesn't have a hashtag in it is kind of like our filing system.
Really, before we had our
Really,
account,
just
yeah.
just kind of, you're throwing stuff out.
That miscellaneous.
But a hashtag is, if you think of the hashtag as the folder that you put that information in, and suddenly it has a place to go. And so if we have a hashtag that's Army Life, as you see on here, that hashtag Army Life has all of a sudden been put in a big folder with every other file with the word Army Life, with that little pound symbol in front of it. They're all in that same folder. So if I'm on Twitter and if I see that Army Life hashtag, it's like I'm opening the folder and all of a sudden every tweet that has had Army Life on it is in there.
Okay.
So it's organizing, it's easiest if you think of it as a filing system for Twitter. So same thing with mental health. If I just put a tweet out where I said talking about mental health, but I don't hashtag it, it's just kind of out there in the wilderness
So
without
if you
a.
want it to go somewhere, that's more the purpose, if you want it to go somewhere.
It's gonna go out there. The Bell campaign is a really excellent use of the hashtag. The Bell Let's Talk campaign, have we all heard of that? Because what date, was that in February? There was a day, and if everybody tweeted or posted an update on Facebook with that hashtag, they had to use that hashtag, Bell Let's Talk, then Bell would donate so many cents to mental health. Yeah, but the only way that Bell could keep track of how many people were tweeting was using that hashtag, that filing system.
So if you were to
So
put,
if you read a tweet,
Yeah.
and you see something that says Army Life, can I, like, I don't know.
We're gonna click on it, yeah, show you what happens.
let's show you what happens.
So I just clicked on Army Life, and these are everybody around the world, and a lot of U.S. Army people on Twitter, by the way, who's talking about Army Life.
What do you put our stuff under?
Oh, a whole bunch of things.
So Jamie, so if you were tweeting something on our life, right? And so you would start, you would ask, Jamie, and so on. When you finish, you go hashtag.
Yep.
Just finish off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that could be including the characters as opposed to
Yes.
It does, and that's another great use for a hashtag, is you reduce the space. So
Yeah, mental
if I
health.
wanted to talk about HMCS Queen Charlotte, if you take out the spaces and put a hashtag in front of it, then you saved yourself
2 characters.
2 characters
Yeah.
by doing it that way.
Did hashtags start on Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter's been around longer, so they started there.
So with this particular tweet, look, because there are several uses of hashtags, I was looking for a description of the various recordings that we have on our site, right? We have all the virtual sessions, the recordings on our site. Because you only have 140 characters, the URL actually takes up quite a bit. And so I didn't have the space to write, you know, we have recordings about, you know, money, army life, mental health. Like that would have commas and spaces and requires a sentence, usually punctuation. And I didn't have those spaces left. So I just wanted to describe what some of these sessions might be about, yeah. And I ran out of space. I would have kept going, but fitness, you know, could have been another one. But yeah, this is a way to do that. So this was adding more information. This wasn't necessarily, it's great to catalog and the Bell Let's Talk and things like that. PEI military I use quite a bit. But in this particular case, this purpose wasn't necessarily to categorize, but to provide additional information. And you can use the hashtag to do that too.
Christine,
Yes.
I have a question. On the link, where does that link take us? OW, I've never seen that, LY.
That's a great question. Okay, so this link takes us to our website, believe it or not, to our virtual recording. But do you see how it would be this right here. Do you see how long that URL is?
Right.
It looks a bit clunky when you pop it into Twitter.
And it takes up a lot of characters.
You know what? Oddly enough, this takes up the same number, but what I've done is I've just kind of shrunken the link a little bit using this this Owly program. I'm not going to get into all of that because that's just like an kind of thing. But Jamie, I use a program for scheduling your tweets, and it has this what's called a URL shortener in it. So it takes big clunky links that just looks off if you have, you know, a tweet and then half of it's this big ugly link, and it'll shrink it down into something that's kind of neat and tidy. It still uses the same number of characters. I've discovered that, even though it's called a URL shortener, but it looks nicer. So, and the thing is cool with this program, it keeps track of all of the URLs that we use that program for. So if we wanted to, we could tell you how many people have clicked on that link.
Okay.
Thank you.
Clarify.
Yeah.
I use Twitter a lot to take pictures for MFRC.
Yeah.
Could I use the hashtag PEI-MFRC?
Sure. Or at PEI.
Or at.
Yeah.
And it'll go into the little file cabinet.
Yeah.
And all the pictures would be there if I clicked on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could even hashtag MFRC photos.
Yeah.
And then every time you did that, then you click on that.
So which is more effective, to use the at or the hashtag, or it doesn't matter?
The
If both would take you to the same place?
The at will let the MFRC know that it's been tagged and will also show people that follow you the actual account that the MFRC has, but the hashtag automatically gives you an organizational system.
Okay. So MFS has this My Voice campaign. You guys probably know. Have you heard about the Add Your Voice campaign that the Military Family Services are doing? It's a big, huge campaign. They want to get input from military families across the country, and each week they have a specific theme. So a couple weeks ago, they were asking about childcare. And this hashtag has been used by all of these national organizations for this purpose. So here's an instance where it would work like a filing cabinet system if I was interested in everyone talking about this specific campaign. A lot of, now some of this, because it's a very generic one too, I could scroll through this and try and pick out the military ones from here. I would have probably recommended a little bit more specific, because you're going to get all kinds of stuff from My Voice. But it would be, whoever's doing that campaign would have to kind of look through that and find all the different usages of it.
So maybe CAF voice or something like that.
Well, the actual hashtag they're using, I didn't make this one up. This is a national one, and this is the one that they're using. So they would have a little bit of a challenge there because other people are using it as well.
One place that hashtags work very well is conferences, like big conferences. So if you were going to a summit on virtual assistants and you wanted to keep track of the meetings that were happening that you couldn't go to, if the conference has its own hashtag, you can follow that hashtag and see everything that's going on within that group. So that happens, I think it's fair to say, at most big events and summits at conferences. They all have their own hashtags so that people can stay informed instead of waiting for the minutes that used to happen.
So support local is a big hashtag that's being used worldwide. I use support the troops a lot too, because that one's quite popular, especially when we're talking about the businesses who are giving discounts, right? Sometimes just a little, to save space, come visit. That's not going to, if I click on that, that's not going to really show up a lot of relevant information, but it was just a way to kind of condense. It also highlights. So you see it's in red, so it stands out. So if my eyes are glazing over here, but I see come visit, I might go back and read that because people tend to be lazy in their eye viewing things. So it's a way to kind of have a certain part of your tweet stand out too.
It's also a way to be sarcastic.
Yeah.
So if, like with the pictures of our pets, if we put that on Twitter, you might simply say, thanks a lot for your help, guys. Hashtag sleeping on the job. Hashtag
hard to find good help.
Can't type. Anything like that, just to kind of add it to
Yeah. I don't tend to do that with you guys too much.
No.
Yours is for mostly adding information that we run out of characters to have, or at the filing cabinet type. Prizes for the kids run and things like that. Instead of having to write there will be prizes, I can just do hashtag prizes.
You can see in that one tweet, Christine has tagged WRC and the running room.
I have another question. So you put down prizes there.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that comes up has to do with prizes for this event as opposed to
No.
everything in the world.
Everything in the world. So this would not be a good one to click on. This was just me adding some extra information. But if I hashtag WR3PEI as well as add it, then that would be more specific. You can also just search for key phrases. They don't have to be hashtags. They can just be any key phrases you want. So if I was looking for WR3PEI, I could just type that in here and click on that, just press enter, and I have options. I could see who's tweeting about it. Top is, it's like how to phrase it, the ones that got most engagement. But if you click on live, this is every single person tweeting about WR3. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not. And I've done this too to find out who might be interested in your page. And so I think I might have found Todd this way, and then I followed Todd because he was training for the WR3, so that means he has a vested interest in this account. You can also just look at accounts who have mentioned it. In this case, there's only going to be the one. Photos, right? And you can kind of do some sneaky little searches that way. This is such a specific phrase that I would hazard a guess that if the majority, if not all, are going to be local and actually pertaining about the WR3. So,
Is Jennifer one of the unit reps, or is it, or the unit rep, I should say?
and we're following her. So that's a great way to get some followers too if you tap into an event that you're having.
It's basically a great big giant rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So after you kind of send your tweets, you get asked and your name, you have to put a punctuation and or you can go right into your message.
You can go right into your
No, you can go right into the message. So if you were direct, you
don't
mean?
need to call them or send a call.
No, if you're tweeting directly to a person, you mean?
That's when you send out a tweet, right? I mean, you do have to put ask.
Nope.
only if you're sending it directly to someone.
Okay, so
Yep.
you can just tweet without saying anything.
Yep. So our tweets, So for example, this one, I didn't start it off with anybody, and I could have left it. I didn't even have to include us. I just like to give us a shout out sometimes. So this one, it doesn't have any @ in it. @ is only used if you want to specifically
Send it to a person.
send it to a person or tag a person, yeah.
Like once you and Bernie are tweeting each other back and forth.
Yeah.
You should do both, right? That
Yeah.
way you get notification and hashtag, which puts it in for file.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you're directly tweeting to someone with the @ symbol, if I wanted to send a tweet to Nancy, but I wanted everyone to be able to see it, I put a period or punctuation mark before the @ symbol, and that makes it public. Whereas if I don't put that period, only Nancy will see it.
Yeah, or I'd put the @ Nancy at somewhere else in the tweet, not at the very beginning. You can kind of do that too.
How do you send personal messages?
So a message, you can send it to a person 2 ways. You can do a public one. So I'm talking to you, Nancy, I'm asking you questions about the WR3, but everyone in the room can hear what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
Or I ask if you can step outside the room. I have something private that I want to talk to you about. So the first, you just include that person's name. So, you know, I'm going to send a tweet to Jamie Lee Mann, blah, blah, blah.
That does not mean it's private, it just means
Yeah.
it's only going to be sent to me. No one
This
necessarily.
is not private, but it doesn't necessarily show up in everyone's news feed. People who will see this are the people who are following MFRC and Jamie Lee Mann, okay? Because you have those people in common. But if I want to send her a message, say that you came across a really great article in The Guardian, we would love you guys to be, like, you have our cell phone numbers, you can text us or send email. If you find information or if you're taking pictures, send it to us. So if you have a photo you want us to use and you're like, I'm just going to send it on Twitter, you can send a new message, and this works the same as in your email account. How come I can't find you? Manly Man, you can. Well, I show up. You want to send me a message, it works the exact same way as an email, and that's private. Only I will read that. Yeah, if you guys are, if you're out, even like a picture of your office, HMCS outside building, take a snap, text it to us. We'll post these things for you.
So where on that do I send a message?
You have a couple of options. The easiest way is to go to a person's account, to their actual page. So you could search. Here's your
Okay.
search field, and let's look for Jamie. There she is. She pops up right away. Jamie. You have to be following somebody in order to send a private message, and they
Okay.
have to be following
Yeah,
you back. And under this little wheel where your settings are,
Yeah.
it should give you the option. She's not following you back, so first you have to ask her to follow you back, and then you can send a message. It will pop up, send a message.
Okay.
I gotta go. Just got a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
One is about copyright. If I come across an article,
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's, to be copyrighted. I can't see where it's limitations to it, but I heard you mention, Jamie, if you're is that something I'm just send to you and you find that out? Or?
So you mean for us to repurpose it for the
Yeah.
website? Yeah. Yeah.
If you're sharing, as long as you're not saying, I've written this article, you're just sharing a piece that you found, all bets are off, you go ahead and share.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they have to come across this article.
Yeah.
Yeah, most articles, fine.
Yeah.
But
even as like if you were reading a really great article and it was paper, like, and you just wanted to let people know what you're into. People love getting inside other people's heads, right? You take a picture of the first page, send it to us, and we'll put a little thing in, like, Ed found this article really great today, and then we'll, like, put the photo up there. People just want to know what you're doing. We're all a nosy bunch of people, and we're interested in what everybody else is doing. So we're not asking you, like, you wouldn't take a photo of your client, but if there's something in your little space, or, exactly, like, that's not probably going to go down very well. If you have cool little bobbleheads of part of your workspace or whatever, like some of your
Or a quote.
Well, just anything, right? Just take a photo, send it to us either by, our cell phone numbers are on our business cards. You can text it to us, you can email it to us. You won't overload us. We ask we would love to have more photos coming from you guys, because we're using either stock images or we're having to be a bit creative in it, so.
There was there anything else about that? Also curious about that. You asked us
Yeah.
if you were doing what you want to do.
Yeah, I would say that you guys you're doing great. I would love more photos coming from you if possible. Or if there's an event and you want to invite us to come because it's a great opportunity, like maybe I should come to your next coffee meeting and take some photos or something like that, right? I think Jamie wanted to take some time over the next few months. We were thinking of doing like a Q&A with each of you to profile on our blog so that people can get an idea of what it is better that you do. So it'll be an interview. So she might set up some interview times with each of you. But yeah, I mean, you can be creative too. Like at your workspace, if there's something fun there, wherever that fox is, you know, take.
We'll have obstacles in the future, wouldn't you?
Even when you were moving, if everything's not set up, I mean, we could have some fun with that, right? So. Yeah. Thanks for coming, Ed.
I'll be in touch if I have any questions.
Okay, for sure.
Okay, so
back
I
to
just
Twitter.
sent you a picture of
Yeah.
HSES.
Oh, thank you.
Will that,
That's a beautiful picture.
will get to you, that's
Yeah.
the best way to do it, the
You can do it that way too. Yep. Because we can take that photo and we can tweet it, we can repurpose it, we can save it, we can use it as a cover image. You know,
Got a double ring.
it's beautiful. Yeah. That's a great. Did you take that photo?
I did not.
Who took the photo?
I believe it was Greg McCaw. I would have to ask.
All right. So somebody who wouldn't mind you sharing.
Oh, no,
Okay.
it's not professional stock.
All right. Okay. That's the only other thing with photos. Yeah. Just to not be stealing them.
No, no.
Yeah.
We have had, we have a notification that's very exciting on the Facebook page. If we wanted to show everybody how that works.
For the MFRC or
Yeah.
okay. So Margaret, for example, when you're setting up for a virtual session, you might take a photo of your snazzy headset there.
That's a great idea.
And we could, you know, because some of these things, like it's great to put out all of the really helpful information and event times and stuff, but the more of a personal touch that we can give it, then the more people will tune in. Okay. We had a notification here?
Yes.
Let's take a look, see? So these notifications are for me, and I have a hodgepodge in there. In there is going to be my personal one. It's going to be ones for this page, ones for all the other pages that I do. So if I go to a specific page, here are the notifications for you guys. And we can see, look at this. Murphy's Community Center has shared your post because we thanked them, and they've commented on it.
Oh, cool.
So we can see what they said. It was our pleasure. Hope to see you again soon.
See, that's how you make friends.
And,
awesome.
and now we're friends. Now we can go, and maybe we'll go bowling together.
Get a burger.
Yes, we'll come back for Burger Love tomorrow. We'll fly you in, Margaret. Yeah.
I have witnesses.
So this was, they're on the ball because this is Facebook, yeah. So they did this half an hour ago, and I would say we probably wrote that maybe 45 minutes ago, maybe now, yeah. So that's pretty good, right? And yeah, that's a great example. They're helping us out.
And we're helping them,
Mhm.
because now everyone who will see that page
Yeah,
will think of Murphy's as a spot to get space.
yeah, not just to go bowling. That worked really well. Okay, I'm not sure if we're gonna.
And we do not manage their page.
No, we don't. They're not our clients. Sometimes we talk to ourselves, but not today.
You go to chat back and forth.
We do. You would be surprised. So some of the new features, if you're interested at all, Twitter now offers polls. They did a long time ago, and then they got rid of them, and now they're back again. So you can add a poll. So if you're creating an event, you know, mornings or afternoons, and ask questions, you can do a little Twitter poll. And sometimes people just have fun with this, right? Like there was a huge one about cinnamon buns a while ago, raisins or no raisins. There's no point to that unless you're a baker, just having fun and getting people's input and, again, increasing your visibility.
And you can do polls on Facebook, too, I've seen, hey?
Now, I know you used to be able to do polls. Can you do, are they back again? I think they're gone now.
Because MFS still does them.
Really? Through Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know sometimes you can add an app that might do that for you, and I think that might be what they're using. So I don't think unless they brought it back, because things always change. I don't think that they let you do polls anymore. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, it used to be in here. So you can add apps, just like you would add apps to your smartphone. And some apps are safe and some are sketchy, so you have to be kind of careful with that. We've added, on our page, we've added an app to our YouTube site because we use YouTube. It's not a default setting for any page. Yeah, there's no.
When you use YouTube, can you get a report of who's viewed it and from where?
Good question. I haven't really gone behind the scenes of YouTube too much. I would think some information, yes, maybe not as detailed. I know that Facebook has really good insights, and you can't get this type of information on everything. Now, the program we use, because we manage a lot of things, does reports for us, and we can get some of your Twitter analytics for you, but Twitter itself doesn't give you that information.
It gives some.
Yeah.
Limited.
It's pretty basic. And I don't know what YouTube itself does. I know that, again, this specific app that we use, this program we use, gives some. So you can add photos or video. We recommend that. That's why we put our call out for even photos you think might be silly, because it just, in Twitter, they're not limiting what people see, but if you have a video, look how your eye is drawn to this. You know, you might read what Sherry McDonald is saying here, but my eyes are drawn to what's going on in this airplane because it's a big photo. Their photos are big, and so it's an eye-catching way to draw your attention. Here's one: military forced to cancel a major training exercise on PEI. I knew that. I think it was their winter warfare. It's not the winter.
They do kind of interesting.
Where are they?
You go up in the little profile, and
Okay.
you go down to analytics. It shows you who your top engagers are. And,
Oh, yeah.
your tweets that are the most popular.
Okay.
So you can see your mentions have gone up and followers have gone up. You can see your top tweet was about volunteers meeting.
Top mention is coming from WR3. That's not surprising. Our top follower is a firefighter EMT person. I don't know where this person lives, though.
So he's got over 20,000 followers, is that what it says?
Yeah. No.
That's your top follower, so that guy, whoever that is.
A top media tweet is, I think, our top tweet that involves a piece of media, whether that be a photo or a video. That was to do with the My Voice campaign. So, yeah, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. You can check out past months, February, too. Gives you a little summary. We had 25 new followers in February and 72 profile visits. That's great. That means people are actually clicking on our name to find out more about you. So that's great.
Okay, I just sent you 2 pictures on Twitter,
Okay.
but I don't know if I sent them to the right place.
Did you send them to Manly Man Media? Or?
I did.
Okay. We will get
At
them.
Manly Man Media.
We will get them.
Okay.
Any questions about Twitter? You would like Twitter. Twitter is, once you get your head wrapped around what it is, then it's a great way of getting specific pieces of information quickly and also getting your message out quickly.
It doesn't seem as cluttered.
No. Facebook is, I mean, we promote it and it is a marketing tool, but it is becoming increasingly clunky and difficult to use. But Twitter is streamlined, it's easy.
Twitter's focused. You're in your app. You go in, you get what you want,
Yeah.
and you go on with your day.
And you don't,
Everyone is
yeah.
Well, just as an example, there's someone who sends me another NC is sharing stuff all the time, and I go in, and there's like 20 things shared, and oh, there's my friend so-and-so, and another 20 things shared from this, and where's that stuff, so I can see the important,
Yeah.
because by the time it gets to all,
You're done. So if that happened in Twitter, for example, let's say somebody was live tweeting an event, that's where it can get a bit cluttered, right? Whether it's a hockey game or a trial. Lots of trials are actually live tweeted now. And you don't really want to be following that. Just close it down, go back in 20 minutes, it'll be completely new. It'll be a different news feed. Yeah, it moves so quickly. Whereas Facebook...
Because this person's using her personal Facebook to share things from the other MFRC, it could, I think, I probably just asked, could you not share that stuff with me? Just share
You
your...
can't share it to a specific person. You could hide those posts though from your feed.
But I still want to see what's going on with her. Like,
Yeah.
you know, her kids or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I just don't want to...
So the next time you see one of those notifications that said a shared one, use the drop-down arrow to say hide these types of posts. And what that'll do, that'll hide the posts that she shares, but it won't hide the stuff that she posts herself.
Yeah, or you could unfollow her, but keep going and checking. So if you want to know what's going on with her this week, just go to her page.
Yeah.
Instead of getting all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions over there, Margaret? Did we lose you? I think we might have lost you.
No, I'm muted. You have to go play. I'm really, it's just a question of playing with it and really trying.
Yeah, so do you have a Twitter account? I think you do, don't you?
I do, yes I do.
Okay, so why don't you set a goal for yourself this week to make like 2 new tweets or 5 new followers or something? So you can...
Oh, that's a great idea. Now for the admin of, like I know the admin of Facebook, is there the same admin privileges for Twitter?
For Twitter, it works on a login and password. That is it. So once you get comfortable with Twitter and you feel like you want to take on some of the MFRC Twitter, and Donna agrees and all that stuff, we would just give you the login and password. That's it.
Okay, excellent.
A lot of
No,
the analytics are really pretty fun. They're easier to look at in Twitter too.
Yeah.
They are kind of prettier than the Facebook one. So whenever you have the login, you can go kind of poke at all this stuff. You can't really break it.
So we can tell you that, let's just get, so your breakdown is almost too far apart, but 58% female, 42% male. That doesn't surprise me.
It's not as big as gaps.
Yeah, that's actually closer than I thought it would be. So, and you can see percentage of your audience is what day. So business and news, I would say the majority of people, that's their #1 interest for Twitter. I don't know why movie news is there. I don't tend to post movie reviews on your account, but who knows.
People in the military.
You can find out most people are using Bell, followed by TELUS. If you were in the wireless industry, that would be important to know. You know, top language, English. So it's kind of cool things that you can actually learn. So now that we know that the demographic in terms of gender, yes, females slightly more than males, but that might make a difference in some of the types of wording we use and some of the content that we put out there. Maybe get back to the, oh, here it is, okay. So it's the regular one. Over here, you'll see trends. These are popular hashtags and news events that are happening in the moment. So if there's any high-profile trials, sporting events, award ceremonies, celebrity news, it'll usually show up here.
So you're not sharing anymore, are you?
Oh, did I not share this with you? I apologize.
We're back to the class. Yeah.
Got that, Margaret? Okay, thank you for letting me know. Over here, I was just saying with the trends, that's what these are not trends from MFRC. These are global for Twitter, although I think you can actually tailor them to yours anyway. They do all kinds of different tailoring, but it's what's popular on Twitter right now, and you'll usually find it's like current events, you know, if there's elections going on or trials, high-profile trials, celebrity news, that kind of stuff, sporting events will be a trending topic.
World tragedy.
Yes, world tragedies are there. So in the event of a world tragedy, we tend to look at all of our clients' tweets and we'll generally pause them because you don't want to be talking about yourself when something horrible has happened. Nobody cares about you when something horrible has happened. If there's been a shooting or just anything really awful has happened, we tend to just kind of step back and let the news take center, and then we will reschedule those tweets for a later time. And that later time might just be a couple of hours depending on the nature of what's going on, or it might be a day. Any questions, Facebook, Twitter, other specific? Go back to the classroom. I think this was the time I think we had allotted. We might have to save Instagram for another day, I think.
I think we can get Twitter on there.
Yes, we can set you up with Bernie. Margaret, do you have any questions? Because if not, we can send you on your way.
No, I'm good. It's really, thank you for including me. This is really cool.
Great,
I'm
thank
really
you.
thankful.
Getting up so early in the morning.
No problem. Bye, guys. Look forward to our next meeting.
Take care.